Before Georgie and Mandy's first marriage begins, it is worth looking back on what young Sheldon and the Big Bang Theory told viewers about the series. Young Sheldon's spin-off, Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage, is in a unique position. The CBS sitcom takes place after young Sheldon's finale, but before the beginning of the Big Bang Theory. By the Big Bang Theory's finale, Sheldon had reconciled with his older brother Georgie. However, the pair were estranged throughout most of the show's original run, meaning not a lot was known about the mysterious older brother Sheldon left behind in Texas. In the Big Bang Theory Season 11, Episode 23, The Sibling Realignment, Jerry O'Connell played the older Georgie as a no-nonsense tire store owner who harbored a deep resentment towards his brother. Georgie felt Sheldon was their mother Mary's favorite son. Despite how much effort Georgie put into supporting Mary after the death of their father, George Sir, eventually the duo resolved their differences and became close again. However, this outing also revealed something else about Georgie's older self. Georgie mentioned his ex-wife in passing, meaning young Sheldon viewers knew that the character's eventual marriage would end in divorce. As the title implies, Georgie and Mandy's first marriage will finally explain why Georgie and Mandy divorced. The series already introduced a major impediment for its title characters in young Sheldon Season 7, when Georgie and Mandy moved in with Mandy's parents. Previously, Georgie and Mandy had been living with Georgie's family, the Coopers, while raising their young daughter Cease. However, when the Cooper family's bathrooms malfunctioned in Season 7, Episode 8, an ankle monitor and a big plastic crap house. This inevitably led to some tension, since Mandy's mother, Audrey, didn't approve of the couple's temporary new setup. While Georgie and Mandy's first marriage will end some young Sheldon storylines, the show is primarily focused on Georgie, Mandy, and the McAllister family. Mandy's parents, Audrey and Jim, have already been sharing their home with Georgie, Cease, and Mandy for a few weeks by the time the new show starts. Although Audrey enjoyed spending time with her granddaughter Cease in young Sheldon Season 7, she resented Georgie's presence and felt that he derailed her daughter's promising path in life. Only time will tell whether Georgie can change her mind in Georgie and Mandy's first marriage. Although one plot bodes well, throughout most of young Sheldon Season 6 and 7, Georgie made his money by working in both his grandmother's illegal gambling room and the laundromat that they used to launder the business's money. When this operation was shut down by the police in Season 7, Episode 7, A Proper Wedding and Skeletons in the Closet, Georgie was left unemployed. This exacerbated Audrey's dislike for her new son-in-law, particularly considering the illegality of his original job. In an attempt to both make peace and offer his son-in-law a leg up, Jim gave Georgie a job in his tire store. This is about the most unambiguously sweet gesture the McAllister family has offered Georgie and Mandy, outside allowing them to live in the family home rent-free. However, that doesn't mean that it is an outright success. Viewers familiar with the Big Bang Theory's version of Georgie will recall that he ran a chain of Dr. Tire stores throughout Texas, and he says in one of Georgie and Mandy's first marriage trailers that he likes being underestimated, since this gives him an edge over competitors. Georgie and Mandy's first marriage may reveal Georgie double-crossed Jim by setting up a rival business. By the time the Big Bang Theory introduced him, Georgie owned a string of tire stores and was separated from his wife. As Georgie and Mandy's first marriage begins, he is happily married and working in his father-in-law's tire store. It doesn't take a genius like Sheldon to work out what might have gotten between the couple, but what is harder to work out is why a happy-go-lucky guy like Georgie would suddenly stab his well-meaning father-in-law in the back. The answer might lie in his relationship with Mandy's mother, Audrey. Audrey, unlike Jim, outright hates Georgie, Audrey barely tolerates what she perceives as her own daughter's shortcomings, and even kicked Mandy out after learning she was pregnant. Audrey's hatred of Georgie and Georgie and Mandy's first marriage may move from a running joke into something more serious if it is used to justify Georgie betraying Jim. Georgie could decide that his own financial success is more important than Audrey and Jim's happiness, thus forcing Mandy to choose between her family and her husband. If this happens, then it may be no surprise that Mandy and Georgie end up divorced before Georgie and Mandy's first marriage ends and the Big Bang Theory begins. It is easy to forget since he was only glimpsed once in young Sheldon, but Mandy has an art student brother named Connor, who is a sensitive soul. Seen in Season 6, Episode 12, A Baby Shower and a Testosterone-Rich Banter, Connor is an unemployed vegetarian whose alternative tastes and brooding demeanor couldn't be more out of place in small-town Texas. Connor hasn't been seen in many of Georgie and Mandy's first marriage's trailers, but he has been recast, with disjointed star Dougie Baldwin taking over the role in the new show. He is not the only pivotal brother in the series. One of the reasons Georgie and Mandy's first marriage can't wrap up every young Sheldon storyline is that the show is unlikely to include Sheldon himself. Sheldon moved to Caltech after his father's funeral in the penultimate episode of Young Sheldon, and he rarely returns home for family occasions after this momentous event. Viewers already know this since it forms the bulwark of his battle with Georgie in the original show. The Big Bang Theory's Georgie complained that Sheldon never returned home to help after George Sir's death, meaning he can't be a regular fixture in Georgie and Mandy's first marriage. Speaking of George Sir, it is important to note the timescale of the Cooper family's story before the events of Georgie and Mandy's first marriage. George Sir died shortly before the story of Georgie and Mandy's first marriage begins, succumbing to a sudden heart attack at work mere weeks after Georgie and Mandy moved out of his home. George Sir's death had a huge impact on Georgie, who promised his father that he would take care of his mother and siblings during the funeral. This commitment comes to shape Georgie's resentment toward Sheldon and may hurt his marriage. Georgie's mother, Mary, is devoutly religious in both The Big Bang Theory and Young Sheldon, and this is unlikely to change in Georgie and Mandy's first marriage. However, her religious fervor did increase in intensity between the two shows, and Georgie and Mandy's first marriage can now illustrate the intervening years. Young Sheldon's finale saw Georgie worried by his mother's increasing reliance on religion, and Georgie and Mandy's first marriage may prove that this did not wane, but instead increased in the time before the Big Bang Theory began. This personality change could put further strain on Mandy and Georgie's relationship with each other.